You want to get straight to the core knowledge, figure out what really matters, and, well, do it quickly. That's exactly what we do here. Today, we're diving into a book that didn't just tell a sci-fi story. It kinda. It basically invented a whole genre. We're talking William Gibson's Neuromancer.
Yeah, and we're actually using a really insightful review as our guide today. It does a great job unpacking why this novel is still just so pivotal.
Exactly. So our mission, if you will, is to understand why Neuromancer is seen as the cyberpunk cornerstone. Why we're still talking about its impact.
It's more than just another sci-fi book. The review calls it a cultural milestone, and that feels right.
A milestone from 1984. That's pretty amazing staying power.
It really is. And it's still shaping how we think about the future, influencing, well, everything from films to games.
So the review dives into the plot, right?
Yeah.
It centers on Henry Case.
Case? He's this washed-up hacker, basically lost his ability to jack into cyberspace.
Ouch. Yeah, the review mentions he gets drawn into this, super dangerous, really complex job.
Involving rogue AI, yeah, and these massive, kind of shady corporations. It's quite a ride.
But it's the world itself that Gibson creates. The review describes it as gritty, neon-soaked.
That's such a perfect description, isn't it? This future just dripping with tech, huge corporations calling the shots, and that line between, physical and digital just blurring.
Sensory overload, the review calls it. Cybernetics, VR, urban decay.
And Gibson's writing style really brings it to life. It's very poetic, but also really visceral, hits you hard.
Now, the review is honest, though. It says Neuromancer can be, well, a bit tough going at first.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of jargon concepts that might feel unfamiliar. It expects you to keep up.
Right. Unfamiliar jargon, complex ideas, and it asks a lot of the reader initially.
Yeah, the review makes a great point. That challenge is part of the reward. You kind of have to lean in, engage with it.
And that effort makes the understanding deeper, maybe?
Exactly. You appreciate what Gibson was building more. Okay, so why read it? What are the big takeaways from the review?
First one seems huge. Genre defining. This is cyberpunk.
Absolutely. It laid down the blueprint. Think about it. Cyberspace as this place you literally plug into, melding humans and machines, those megacore.
All-powerful, morally gray corporations.
Yeah. Gibson just presented it all in this completely fresh, incredibly influential way.
The review also highlights the visionary world building. It says it's detailed, immersive, both fascinating and terrifying.
And what's wild is how much of that 1984 vision feels almost familiar now. This idea of a deeply interconnected digital world. He kind of nailed aspects of our internet.
It's kind of spooky. His foresight back then makes you wonder.
It really does. And it wasn't just tech for tech's sake. The review points to the complex themes.
Right, like identity. What happens to being human when technology is everywhere, inside us even?
These are massive questions, and honestly, maybe even more relevant today as tech accelerates. The definition of humanity itself. Gibson was grappling with this decades ago.
And the final big point from the review, how influential it's been.
Oh, yeah. They draw direct lines to things like The Matrix.
The Matrix. Totally see that.
Yeah.
And Cyberpunk 2077, the game.
Definitely. You can just see Neuromancer's DNA scattered throughout so much sci-fi that came after it. It set a standard, a vision of the future. Both the cool parts and the scary ones.
And the characters. The review mentions Molly Millions.
Ah, Molly. Yes. Unforgettable character. Razor sharp, literally. It shows Gibson wasn't just about ideas. He could create really compelling people within that world, too.
So, pulling it all together, the review's verdict is pretty clear. If you like science fiction at all.
You gotta read Neuromancer. It's a must-read. Simple as that.
It might push you a bit, yeah.
It will. It's challenging, like the review says, but it's an ultimately rewarding journey. You really get to the heart of this genre-defining masterpiece.
And you'll probably look at our own tech-filled world a little differently afterwards.
For sure. You gain a much richer grasp of cyberpunk and just the big questions about where we're heading with all this technology.
Okay, so here's a final thought to chew on, something the review kind of sparks. Gibson dreamt up this cyberspace back in '84. How does his vision stack up against, well, the messy, amazing, sometimes terrifying reality of our internet and digital lives today?
That's a good one. What did he get uncannily right, and where did reality just veer off in a totally unexpected direction?
Something for you to think about.